Hey guys, how are you?
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
All right, guys, we got episode 6 of Antique Booth Talk, and I am Tam from Tam's Place, and we have Jen. Go ahead, Jen.
I'm Jen, also known as the Pudgy Picker here on YouTube.
And Tonya.
And I'm Tonya, Thrifty Treasures, here on YouTube.
All right. Okay, so this is going to be kind of informal. I have a few notes here. We're going to talk about a few things today, but it's going to be kind of informal, just a little chit-chatting. So if you guys have any questions, just put them in the chat, and we will try to answer them to the best of our ability. To make it a little bit easier, if you all want to put out to the side, or before you ask the question, just put the word question and then ask your question, so that way it'll make it a little easier. Okay, so first thing I guess that I want to get started with is to talk a little bit about our men's area in our antique booth. Jen, I know you've had a men's area for a long time. I just started a men's area, and I don't think that, a lot of people that frequent, a lot of men that frequent the antique booth probably don't know. I talked to my antique booth owner the other day about it, and she said that a lot of the men that come in already know where the men's stuff is. So if somebody adds a men's section, they'll have to learn that there's a men's section in that booth to be able to go look at it. She said most of them go to the shelves, and that is where a lot of the men's stuff is. So
the shelves?
Yeah, the shelves that we have in our antique booth. There's a lot of men's, not a lot, but there's a few men's section. And then we have one antique booth it's geared more towards like nautical stuff, but there's a lot of men's stuff in that too. So they know to go to that booth as well. So, Tonya, how about you? Have you started a men's section? Do you have a men's section?
Well, I haven't really consolidated it to one, little location, but I have been toying with the idea. You were my inspiration for this idea, is adding clothes to my antique booth. And so I was thinking about adding some Hawaiian shirts, because I love, love, love the Hawaiian shirts, and I pick them up all the time. And so the ones that I don't get listed or I have too many, I think I'm going to start putting some in my antique booth. I just need to figure out how I'm going to display it, because I know there's a lot of guys out there that really enjoy the Hawaiian shirts.
That's a good idea. And where you're, pretty close to the coast, at least a lot closer than I am,
yes,
you probably have more people that like that.
Definitely. Nautical stuff always sells really well. So I think I do really good with the Hawaiian shirts. And like you said, since I'm so close to the coast, they're really plentiful to find in the thrifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's something I can't do in my booth, is we can't have clothes. It is a city ordinance because there's been issues with bed bugs over the last several years.
Wow.
So clothes are not, you have to have a special permit. And in fact, in the city where our mall is, there aren't any thrift stores. So I guess it is an expense to the store to carry, this permit. We are allowed to have other things, but they have to be sprayed. I know I've talked about that before, but no clothes at all. So not even like vintage or, costumes or anything like that. So that's something that I can't do in my space. I do have a few little, like a little small area with my men's stuff, but I don't know. It seems like the men that shop our mall, they kind of know what they want. So if they're coming in, they know where the trains are, they know where the coins are, they know where the comic books are. So it seems to me that women are more browse around, men are more, this is what I'm looking for, or they'll even come in and say, do you have this? Do you have this?
Yeah.
So,
right.
they're very, specific on what they want. But, I have it set up there, and then I guess if the women are browsing and they see a men's section, then they can use it to buy for gifts. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
There's an interesting comment here in the chat. I have to read it because it sounds like a really good idea, and I might have to try it. So Barbie Crafts says, my husband likes a men's form of jewelry jar. He got a basket of tools, nails, etc., and a toolbox sealed with tape for $5.95. He loved it.
Wow. Yeah, the men's jewelry jar. That's an
a great idea. Yeah.
And actually, I have started watching Barbie. She's got some pretty good videos. So, you know, if you all aren't subscribed to her, don't know who she is, go over and check her YouTube channel out because she does pretty good.
Definitely. I'll subscribe now.
I know whenever I go to an auction and there's a table where they're doing box lots and it's got a lot of tools, that if there's like a little girly type, you know, decorative item, I wait for the men to finish bidding because they bid it way up and then they grab all the tools, you know, because if I go up against them, I'm going to pay a lot for something they're not trying to get. So,
Yeah.
uh,
So, Jen, your men's section, does it do pretty good? Do you sell quite a bit in it?
it does okay. And I couldn't begin to tell you who's buying, if it's women that are buying it or men that are buying it. But when you think about men's items, you think about some of the things I might sell, maybe cologne or other things. Men aren't buying those things for themselves usually.
Yeah.
It's usually the wife or the girlfriend that's picking those items up. So, yeah, I mean, if I could have a camera and watch who's picking it up and who's buying the men's stuff,
Right.
but you
That
know,
would
you
be
just
nice.
kind of, yeah, it would, you know, but it's just one of those things you gotta, you know, keep it stocked. And I have a hard time finding things, and I don't know if it's just because my mind isn't geared to look for them,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
if I'm just truly not finding things. So, you
I
know,
feel the
I'm
same
always
way.
keeping my eye open.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I just don't think that my brain is, like you said, geared or wired to work that way.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think what I'm
maybe
going to do, I'm going to ask my antique booth owner if she can kind of think back and recall things that men typically buy, and then try to start searching for, you know, things that, you know, she might remember that men typically come in there and buy. So I don't know. I'm going to give it a couple more months and see. I haven't sold a whole lot. I just sold like a camel statue. I think I had showed that when I was interviewed on John's channel, Picker. I showed her that camel that I had gotten, and that sold. So that was good.
Awesome.
good.
And I don't know that that was a man that bought it. It just so happened to be in that men's section, you know, that I had in my booth.
Yeah.
So very good. Okay, so the next thing we'll move on to. Let's see. I guess. Do y'all have any new projects or any changes that you're thinking about making to your booth coming up? Or have you made any changes? Or, you know, Jen, how about you?
I've made a few changes. I had, if anyone watches my channel or if you want to see a booth tour, I just put up one on Sunday.
Oh, I have to go see that.
And yeah, so I've been bringing in a lot of this different stuff that I've made or revamped in the shabby chic kind of that kind of style. So Saturday I put up the video of what I made, and then Sunday is when I put up the video of it actually staged in the booth. So it seems to be doing pretty good. I had a few things sell already. So that's good. It's, you know, it's a style, but you never know if anybody in your area is actually, you know, buying it or looking at that stuff. So
Right.
it is starting to sell. So we'll see. I have some other projects and things I'm working on to kind of fill, because I have that 25 by 25 glass and chrome shelf in the front that we like to change out every month and a half. So we'll see. I know the owners must like it because I saw a couple things that were missing and I was thinking, oh, wow, they must have sold. And then when we went to leave, a few of those things had been put in the front where they have a person that comes in and stages things. So they were pulling a few things. So I was sad they didn't sell, but I was glad that, you know, they looked at them as worthy of putting up there. So we'll see how that does. Hopefully people will see that and, you know, buy from there as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about you, Tonya?
Well, you know, I've been experimenting with the doll heads. Is now a good time to bring that up?
Speaking of,
Oh,
my doll head that I won. Yay!
look how she's all blinged out.
When I got her, I told my husband, I was like, oh my gosh, she's got jewelry on her.
Of course she does. I made it.
Yes, I'm waiting. It's too cold up here just yet. The weather up here is driving me insane. I can't stand it.
That's what I keep hearing from everybody up north. It's just won't
Oh my
stop.
gosh. We
Well,
just
it's
got
awful.
snow yesterday.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Yep.
probably even worse for you, Jen, because you're further north than me.
Yeah, it kind of disappeared, but it's like 35 degrees outside. So I
Yeah.
don't know. And the bad thing is we're not going to have a spring. We're going to go from 35 to 85. And there's,
Yep. You got it
Yeah.
right. Well, I'm waiting for the weather to warm up, and then I'm going to plant something in my little doll head. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm going to put her on my patio.
Yes, and you'll have to post a picture of it in our Facebook group. So
Yeah, I definitely will.
but yeah, so I'm going to be experimenting with them in the booth. I haven't brought any up yet, but I probably will this weekend. I've got a bunch of dolls to dismantle.
What kind of prices are you going to put on those?
It just depends on how fancy I get. Like, I've been looking around on the internet, getting ideas, and I see a lot of people, not a lot, but I've seen a couple of pictures where people put them on a pedestal. And if it's not going to be something I'm shipping and it's something I can just set in my antique booth, I'd be willing to do that. So I might jack up the price a little bit for something like that. And when I say stands, like, for example, candle stands, like to hold a pillar or a taper, I think those would work really well.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
There's just, what is it? Your only limit is your imagination, there's just no limit.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm kind of concerned. I don't want like the owners to think I'm like creepy and weird. I don't know. I mean, like, they know me and, I talk to them. I think they like me. So I don't know, but
That's okay. If people think of you as creepy and weird, you can get away with a lot because they go, that's just Tonya, she's a little out there.
Right. That's so true. But, I'm thinking for a price point, if I put them on a stand, and I'm going to add some other things. I'm thinking about adding some floral stuff, some greenery, probably like $25, maybe $29.99. But if it's just the head, I think you and I talked about this, Jen, or maybe back and forth in the comments on Facebook, maybe like $12.99, $14.99. But I sold one on eBay for $19.99.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I did. Isn't that nuts?
So was it a real plant that you sold on eBay, or was it a fake plant?
I quite literally just sold it like this.
Really?
Yep. Just like that. No plant. Of course, I said so in the description, right? I said plant not included, but I put it in there, just for, display purposes. But
you can even pack some dirt in there and just put like grass seed and then just, give it a haircut.
That's a good idea.
On Monday, I just picked up 3 baby dolls and took their heads off. It was a weird experience, I tell you.
It is. I wouldn't even let my daughter be in the room. I was like, no, you don't want to be in here.
Wrong about it. So I took the heads off, and then I haven't messed with them yet, but I have a galvanized bucket. So I just kind of threw the heads in there, and there's 3 of them like looking at me. And then I took one of the dolls that was just the body, and I took it in my son's room, and I tucked it into his bed. So when he came home from work and he went in there, and I heard the door close, and then the door opens and he comes out holding it. He goes, "That was creepy."
That's so funny. Angie at Treasure Vintage, she says, "Do you check the value of the dolls before the lobotomy?"
Well, I think the ones I got were just like real soft bodies, and then they have, of course, the hands and feet. Now we have to come up with a way to use the hands and feet.
Exactly. I'm saving them in a gallon-sized baggie. I've got a whole bunch of baby hands and feet.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Well, maybe that'll come in handy in Halloween. Maybe you could put them in a jar and put some
good idea.
Have float around in there.
Our antique mall owners are going to be booting us out, y'all.
Like, what is wrong with these people?
You crazy deranged people.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, whatever sells, I'm to that mentality. I'm like, who would do that? How much? Yeah, let's do that.
Well, as far as me doing anything new or making changes, I uploaded a video yesterday, I think it was, of showing my clothing display that I recently added. with I've got one like half mannequin, and then I got a full mannequin, and then I added a piece of driftwood to kind of display some jewelry on. While I was in there, I was talking to my antique booth owner, and she said that we were just kind of chit-chatting a little bit, and she said that to stick with like kind of watch what you sell, and then when you like see something that sells really good, kind of gear your booth more towards that. I have noticed that, of course, and this is not all year round, but here recently I've been selling tons of purses, tons of clothes, tons of earrings, but I don't know if I'm quite ready to just gear my booth towards that exclusively, because I do sell, you know, home items and stuff. So I guess, you know, I've only had my booth a little over a year, so I'm still experimenting. So it's still an experiment in progress. So
You uploaded that video yesterday?
yes.
I'll have to go see it because I really wanted to see how you displayed your driftwood with your jewelry.
I just laid it on the table that my clothes are on and just kind of laid jewelry on it. I wrapped some bracelets around it. It's not a real big piece. I have other pieces of driftwood, but they're so big they wouldn't fit on the table, so I had to use a small piece instead.
Yeah. How are you displaying your earrings? Like, do you put them on little cards, or how are you doing it, in baggies?
Actually, what I have done is, you remember all that monogram jewelry?
Yes.
Okay, well, there was several pieces in there that weren't, it was almost like the letter wasn't like smooth. It was a little more rough. And I didn't want to sell those. So what I did was I just tossed those because I had so much of that monogram jewelry, and I've done pretty good on it anyway. So, and I took the ones I tossed, I took all the cards off and put them in a baggie. And so that way, whenever I get earrings, I have cards and they're all the same.
That's good.
So
Yeah,
even though I
you
didn't sell all the monogram jewelry, at least I've got some use out of some part of it.
You should have put those in a jewelry jar.
Do what?
You should have put those in a jewelry jar with some other stuff.
Yeah, I could have, but they just weren't. I didn't like how they looked.
Yeah.
I didn't like how they looked, so I just tossed them.
Yeah, there's I've been doing more different kinds of jewelry. I have a earring spinner that holds, gosh, like 300 pair. So for up till now, I've only been selling the earrings. I've been buying some more jewelry jars. They're just abundant all of a sudden. And then bagging them up in different smaller size bags. And I have a video of how I've displayed those. I actually bought from another vendor for like $1 or $2 a book of like upholstery fabric, and cutting it out with pinking shears, and then pinning a brooch or whatever the item is on it, and then putting it inside the bags. And then I have the bags inside some like chicken wire baskets so people can, dig through them. So I've only had those up for maybe a week and a half. So I don't know how it's going to do yet, but something I wanted to ask Tam and Tonya, now that you guys are selling jewelry, is I've had a lot of people asking me about theft in the last video that I put up. And unfortunately, being in a physical location, you're going to have things walk off.
For sure.
But I figure with the price that I'm paying for this stuff, and then the price I'm selling it for, if a few pieces do happen to disappear, it's not that it's okay, but it still makes it profitable for me to do that. Right. What do you guys think about having jewelry and having theft, and how does that clue into your pricing scheme?
I agree with 100% what you said. I mean, it's not going to break my bank if somebody walks off with a couple pairs, but it's not okay. One thing, I really like the way you're displaying your jewelry now, Jen, especially with that fabric backing. I think it's really unique, and it makes it, pretty for the ladies to look at. And I feel like the ladies definitely like to go through there and move stuff around and see what kind of treasures they can dig up. So I've been experimenting with it too. One of the things that I did a little bit different is, and it's just a little time consuming, but I actually put some tape over the top of the bag, because I don't want people opening the bags and then just finding jewelry strewn all about in the basket. So I just
Yeah.
kind of put a little bit of tape over the top, and I kind of like separated the earrings to where if they move it back and forth, they can see, the front and the back and whatnot. So I don't know. Like I said, it's just an experiment. I still have some jewelry hanging up as well too, but this whole little bin basket thing of rummaging through it, I think that's gonna, I've already sold one pair.
All right.
Oh, good.
So we'll see. I'll keep y'all updated. I'll let you know how it goes next month. And I definitely want to hear how yours goes too, Jen.
Yeah, the earrings are always, they always sell. I mean, I'm always every week straightening them up because there's some that fall on the floor, and then there's always some missing, and I have the clip ones marked. And if you watch my booth tour, you'll see how I have them marked. But they're a regular seller, and I sell all my earrings for $3.99 each, no matter what they are or what
That's
they look
good.
like. So it's kind of nice that it's, it's a certain price point. And at that price, if you see several you like, I mean, sometimes I'll see, on my readout where somebody bought 4 or 5 pairs at a
Mhm.
time. So it's not going to break the bank, and you can splurge a little on more than one pair, which is nice.
Yeah, it's a great price point too. I really like that.
Yeah. Sorry, with mine, on one of my recent videos, there was a, I guess it was a booth tour that I had done. I bought at one of our malls. There was a business in there that was going out of business, and they were not only selling all of their inventory, but they were also selling all of their display stuff. And my husband and I got there a little late, but we did manage to get a earring or jewelry display piece, and it's like old barnwood, and it spins, and it already had little hooks on it and everything. I think I paid like $30 for it, which was well worth it because it displays a lot of earrings. And with my antique mall being kind of on the smaller side, I know that I think your all's is quite bigger than mine, your all's antique malls. But with mine being a little bit smaller, from where the checkout register is, the person that's working there can almost pretty much see all over the entire antique mall.
Wow.
So I think that deters theft a little bit. And also, they have made up little cards. Well, of course, we have video cameras all over, but they've made up little cards that they put in the antique booths in certain little areas that says, you're being videotaped, that type thing. So I think that kind of deters from theft a little bit. That I know of. I don't know that I've had anything go missing. Of course, I could have and just never did find out about it. But I agree with you, Jen, with your pricing on your earrings, what you get them for and what you price them for. If you have a pair, pair or two that go missing, it's really not going to be that big of a deal. Doesn't mean it's right and you should do it.
Right.
They're going to have to answer to that at the end. So
Exactly what I think.
Yeah, because if you get a jewelry jar, I mean, you're paying maybe a quarter for each item or something. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if something does go missing, it's unfortunately the way it is. And we've had people where they have come into their booth, they have a locked case, and they noticed that things are pulled to one side. So people are, going in that little opening and still, I mean, if somebody's going to steal, they're going to steal.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we had a large sofa-sized painting get stolen because somebody was just walking out of the door. They weren't like acting suspicious. And the people who saw were like, oh, I guess they must have paid for that. Or, they were walking out like they had a right to do so, and found out later that, did that go through the register? No, it didn't. So it literally just walked out the front door.
Oh,
So
no.
unfortunately, if people are going to steal, they're going to steal. And I'd rather them clip something I paid a quarter for than something I paid much more for.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it. And locked cases are no guarantee that nothing's going to get stolen. And a lot of people will look at something, even if they can see the price, and they won't, I'm not going to bother anybody to unlock it.
Exactly how I feel. I do it all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have that option. We can get our own locked case, no matter what size we want. We can put it in our space. But truly, are people going to do that? And especially if my jewelry's no more than probably $8 to $10, that price point and less, they may not bother.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We got a question in the chat. Kelly Davidson's asking, do you all have little mirrors up so they can look at themselves? I myself do not, but that's a great idea. Thanks for bringing that up.
Good idea. Definitely.
How about you, Jen?
I had a really pretty one, and I priced it kind of high, and somebody bought it. Because I thought, well, it'll kind of be here, but I got a really high price on it. So if somebody buys it, then yay me. And it was like $36. It was a mirror that you could turn, and it had birds and stuff on it, and it was beautiful. And another vendor bought it for a present for somebody in her family. So I was like, okay. So I don't know.
That's
I have another one downstairs. I should actually see if I can pull that up. It looks kind of tired, so I wasn't going to sell it. Maybe that would be a perfect, just put a not for sale on it and put it there.
Okay,
good idea.
I'm having a moment right now. I saw the most gorgeous mirror the other day. It had a real pretty gold trim on it, and I thought, and it was, it wasn't too big. It was kind of like just the right size to go in my booth for people to see if their jewelry works, right? But I told myself at the time, Tonya, you just can't buy everything. And see, I'm having buyer's remorse right now. I should have just bought that.
Yeah.
Every time I go through that, I should just not listen to that little voice in my head and just buy it. Because now, thinking back, it would have been the perfect size to display it right there above the table where all my jewelry is. And like Jen said, put a high price on it. If it sells, great. I'll just go buy another one. But at least you always got that mirror there. I'm totally going to do that this week. Thank you.
It's so funny. Sometimes I'll be in the thrift store or at a garage sale, and I'll be like, I don't know, should I buy that? And I'm like, Jen, it's $1. Just pick the thing up and buy it.
I know.
I mean, sometimes you get like, they call it analysis paralysis, where you stop and you're like, oh, should I buy it? It's just like, oh my gosh, $1, just buy it.
Exactly. Yes.
I was just reading some comments in the chat here. And actually, this is much easier for me to type in the chat. I'd rather just say hi to everybody. So let me say hi to a few people. Anna G, Christy, Lonnie, Garage Flips, Kelly, Barbie, Vintage Vinny.
Hi, Vinny.
Hey, Vincent.
Who else? Kathy, Kelly.
Christy.
Anybody? Angie. Sorry if I missed anybody. I'm trying to see. So yeah, hi everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad y'all are here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Let's see here. Okay, so the next thing is I thought we would do a few items that we've sold in each of our antique booths. If you all have, whoever wants to go first, Jen or Tonya, if you have pictures and you want to show, or if you just want to name some things, however you want to do it.
You go first, Jen.
I knew you were going to do that to me.
I'll go if you want, either way.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm still looking at my readouts here,
Okay.
so go ahead.
Well, I don't have my readouts with me, but I did recently do a video, and I was rattling off everything that I sold. Last month we had the 50% off, or we had a sale and you choose a percent. I always go with 50. And so when we have these 50% off sales, I blow out a whole lot of inventory, and it's great because I get to replenish with a bunch of fun new stuff. So I really just sold just a hodgepodge of everything. I sold books and some jewelry jars, some separate jewelry, pictures. I always pick up like the pictures when I see them. Cookie jars. I sold a whole bunch of cookie jars, like 3 of them. What else did I sell? And roosters. Roosters to me, like when I see them, I feel like there's a lot of people who collect roosters. So
oh yeah.
Anytime I see like little rooster statues or whatnot, I always pick those up. So just really everything.
Yeah, I had a rooster cookie jar that I sold not too long ago. So
oh, I bet that was cute.
The item that I sold that I had in our furniture gallery in the back was, I don't know if you guys remember this. I had a table that I had gotten at an auction quite a while ago. The top was damaged. I covered it in yardsticks. I always collect yardsticks whenever
I saw that. It was so cute. I loved it.
It sold for $65. I was so tickled. And yeah, the top, you remember the plastic doilies? Someone had varnished a plastic doily to the top of this table. It was like a coffee table or a side table, and then had ripped it off. So it was like, this is going to be a pain to refinish. So I got it for $5. And then over the last couple summers, whenever I'm at a garage sale, if I see an old beat up yardstick and it's a quarter or 50 cents, I'm always kind of picking them up. So maybe $10 worth of yardsticks. So maybe a $15 investment. And that was fun, putting them down and, lining them up and cutting them different sizes. And yeah, that sold for 65.
So how did you adhere it? Like, did you use some kind of the E6000, or what did you use?
I used little nails that I made sure, because the top of the table was probably 2.5 inches, and it was solid wood. So with particle board, I probably would have been a little more concerned about, nailing it on there. But yeah, it was an easy and fun project. And it's one of those things, man, if I would have had a place to put it, and my husband's like, well, if you like it so much, keep it. And I'm like, I'd rather have the money.
Right.
But I'm sure somebody's tickled with it. So that sold. And then my bread and butter items, fabric, plants, my soap, earrings. So I have my bread and butter items, and then of course a couple splashes of a larger item. So it kind of rounds it out. But it's nice to have items that I consistently carry, that consistently sell. People come to rely, and they know that it's going to be there. And that's nice, because when the larger things or more strange or unusual things don't sell, you always know the bread and butter stuff is going to go. So that's good.
Definitely.
Okay, so stuff that sold good for me this past month. Earrings I've done really well on. I sold 11 pair of earrings. A combination of totes and purses. I sold 11. Combination of both of those. 11 articles of clothing. 4 wallets. That is that's just a few of the things. I've got 3 pages of stuff that I sold, but I did want to tell you all about one item that I sold. It was you all have seen the real small Coach purses. They're like about this big, and they have like a handle. You can take the handle and make it into a wristlet, or you can make it just like a small purse.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There was another booth at my antique mall that had that in their booth. And it was behind a bunch of clothes with some other purses. So when I saw it, I was like, that's a Coach purse. And the person that had it in their booth had 75% off their entire booth.
Wow, 75 off?
I got that little red Coach purse for $1.50.
Wow.
Brought it home, cleaned it up, conditioned it, put it in my booth, and sold it for $12.99.
That's the way to do it.
So I said, the reason probably that didn't sell is because she had it in her booth, but it was behind a whole bunch of clothes. She had a shelving unit, and she had some purses in behind there, and had a bunch of clothes in front of it. People couldn't see it.
Yeah. I have a question for you. How do you condition your purses?
I had been using some Doc Martin leather conditioner that I had here, but I went and bought saddle soap. And actually, hang on and I'll show you what it is.
Okay.
It's this right here.
Saddle soap. Okay. I've never used that before.
It's Kiwi saddle soap, and I've been very, very happy with it. You just can't get like a slightly damp, cotton cloth or something, and you just rub that in on, the leather, and it cleans it really good. I've been very happy with it.
Can you use it on shoes too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And any color leather?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. Any color?
Any color, yeah.
Okay, wow. I have to get some of that.
See, another brand that I have a furniture reconditioner, it's called Howard's, and they also sell it's it is a leather conditioner, and it's in the container, almost like a consistency of like a real thick lotion. And I've used that on a few items, and that's been pretty good. So I don't know if you could probably buy it online, but Howard's is a very good reconditioning brand. So, and it's not super expensive. And even if you think, wow, that seems to be a lot, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another good brand to try.
Now, as far as, because I did have somebody ask on one of my videos how I cleaned my purses, and I did tell her about this, but then also I watched another video. This has been months ago. Well, probably over a year ago. I watched another YouTuber, and I can't remember the name of her channel, but because I was wondering how to clean the fabric Coach purses that have the C's on them.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, how would you be able to clean that? You know what she uses?
What?
Woolite carpet cleaner.
Oh, wow.
That makes sense.
Pulls the inside of the purse out, you know, because a lot of the Coach purses have that silky, like satiny lining. She pulls that out, sprays that carpet cleaner all over that. If it gets on like the leather or the metal parts, she just wipes that off because you don't want that to stay on there. Lets it set for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then just, you know, wipes it real good. And I have been doing the same thing. She also does it for the fabric purses that have fabric on the outside. Spray the purse down, because a lot of times the bottom of them will get real dirty. Spray it down real good, let it set for 10 or 15 minutes, go back, you know, kind of, don't scrub it real hard, but, you know, kind of scrub it in there. Hang it up and let it dry. Has worked for me. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
That's great. I had no idea.
And I haven't ever had any problems of anything getting ruined. I'm not saying that it won't ever happen, but I've never had any, you know, had that, you know, happen where anything's gotten ruined. It's always cleaned them up really nice. And actually, I think I used that also on a Dooney and Burke purse, and it worked fine.
Lonnie is asking a question. He says, after you rub it in, do you have to rub it off? Is there a lot of residue?
No. Nope, not at all. There's no residue, because when you spray it on there, it's like a foam. But then after you let it set, it sinks into the fabric.
Okay.
And you just go back and take like a warm cotton cloth and just kind of, you know, wipe it and rub it. And, you know, areas like if there's like, you know, like a heavy stain, you might have to reapply it and go back and kind of rub it again a little bit. You don't want to rub it too hard, but, you know, just enough to try to get the stain out. The only thing I found out that it's sometimes hard to get out is pin marks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, I know. I have a lot of purses, and I actually, in the next week, I've had a lot of people asking how do I take pictures of my purses for eBay? So I'm going to be doing a video on that. And I don't know. I find so many at such a great price. If it's really overly dirty, then I just pass it.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, if you like stains, or if it's a, you know, purse worth a lot and getting a really good price on it, it's worth it. But, you know, always account your time, what you're putting into that item. I mean, your time is worth a lot too.
Right.
So, I mean, if you get a purse and, you know, you're, you know, spending all this time on it, hours, if it's more than 45 minutes to an hour work, then I'm like, I tap out at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
And I learned my lesson on that. Because I did buy a couple purses that were really dirty, and I spent a lot of time on them. Of course, I did sell them, and I did make pretty good money, but I'm thinking, you know, was that worth my time to spend all that time on it? So,
yeah, I agree.
So let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I did sell. I have put 3 jewelry jars in my antique booth, and all 3 of them have sold.
That's so awesome. What kind of price are you putting on them?
I had one that was kind of smaller. It was probably about maybe this big, and I had, I think, $9.99 on that. Then I had one that was a little bit bigger for $12.99, and then I had a really, really big one that was like, well, I'll have to try to find a picture so I can show you because it was huge.
What price did you put on that one?
I put 30 on it.
And it sold?
So, yeah.
What about you,
Wow.
Jen? Are you selling any jars in the booth?
I actually do like a sandwich bag and I fill it up and tape it closed and I put like maybe $6 on those. I don't know. It seems like it takes a certain kind of person because I'll have them sitting there a while and then I'll come in one day and all of them are gone.
Exactly.
I have 3 of them in there now. I'm just wondering if maybe a jar or a glass container would be more appealing to look at, to kind of rather than, a bag. So I don't know, maybe I might do that. Maybe put them in a jar and then put the price up a little bit and see what I can do on it.
Because I know you've got a lot of jars.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
And another pretty thing you can do with the jars when you put them in the booth is get some of that. Oh, I wish I had some. What's it called? Like tulle. So the tulle, you can get at a Hobby Lobby and get like 2 or 3 different colors and then just tie a little bow on it. I think that makes it look really pretty too.
Yes, it does. That's an excellent idea. I like that idea.
Yeah, and I've even seen people selling magazines in the booths too, like just a stack of magazines, like all the same kind, and put that around them and then tie a little bow. It looks really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did that for a while, but I've gotten to a point where the only time I read my magazines in my house is if I'm sick. So, I got to a point where I just let a lot of them expire, but I used to do that in our old booth. We always sold older magazines. I'd take them and then wind it and turn it, wind it around and tie it up, and that they would always sell. So I don't know if it's worth your space, you can't get a lot for them, but I know I was looking at somebody's booth the other day and they had some like decorative, home decor kind of magazines and they had like $3 and $4 on them. And I'm like, I'm going to keep an eye on those because I'm like, I wonder if those are going to sell. But
each or for stack?
Each. Yeah.
Wow. Like home decor, like type magazines?
Yeah. I thought it was a little ambitious, but who am I?
You keep an eye on that and keep us posted.
It's on my way to the cafe and the bathroom. So every time I go by, I'm like, that's still there. It's still there. So we'll see.
I found a picture of that big jewelry jar.
Okay, let's see it.
I actually put I had the girl that was working there, I had her put a tape measure to show how tall it was. I don't know if y'all can see that or not.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
How many inches is that? What's it say?
It is, it's gone. Hang on. There we go. It's almost, it's about
Looks
10.
like 10 or 11.
It looks pretty wide too.
It is. Like, it was probably like this big around.
What did you put in there?
Oh, all kinds of stuff. I had a bunch of jewelry that I used to have when I had my gift shop. I had a bunch of jewelry that never did sell, so I put some of that in there. Some stuff that I had gotten out of the other first 2 jewelry jars that I opened that I wasn't going to sell, put that in there. Some jewelry that I had made myself, put that in there. So I filled it up pretty good, and that was the one that I sold for $30, so that was good.
That's why I'm always saying, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's why I'm always saying the jewelry jars are such a great value because you can always take what you want out of there, sell some of it on eBay, Poshmark, Etsy, whatever, sell some at your antique booth. What you don't want, put it back in the jar and put it in your antique booth.
Yeah,
and make more money, right?
Yeah, because there's some stuff that you think, it's not really worth, separating it out and pricing it individually. But,
yes.
When you put it in there, everybody loves mystery. Everybody, loves looking at them. So
yeah,
it's good to do it.
And it's funny too, because the jewelry jars are becoming so much more popular, and in my area, they're becoming a lot harder to find because when I go to the Goodwill, if you don't get to the Goodwill right when they put them out, you're not going to get them.
Yeah.
Or at least not in my area. I have to get there right when they put them out, and you never know when they're going to put them out. But what I've started doing is when I go in there, I'll just go over to one of the employees and say, do you have any jewelry jars you're getting ready to put out?
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Just ask, yeah.
Of course, all the time, I always said, no.
I know I go to 2 Savers on Monday. The first one has had a lot of them recently, and the second one, they never have them. She's like, as soon as somebody hears tape, the plastic
Yes.
tape coming off the reel. They come running over, give it here. So, I mean,
Yep.
the second one never has any. The first one recently, I went in the one day and they had between 12 and 15 jars.
Wow.
And I was like, holy cow. So, I mean, it's crazy. And if you watch my channel, I did a different kind of jewelry jar opening. I had like 3 jars and then I had a box. And what I did, instead of just dumping them out right from the box, is I, priced them all out, put them in the bags, displayed them. And then I showed people, here's what it is, here's what I paid, here's what it is, here's what I'm going to get for it. So I've had a lot of positive feedback on people who liked that way, because they're like, not only am I just seeing it fresh out of the jar, but I'm seeing how you've staged it and what you're going to ask for it.
That's a great idea.
So that went over really well. So I kind of do, I kind of go back and forth. I'll do one straight out of the jar and then one actually showing you, here's what it is and here's how much I want to get for it. So that was a good way to do it.
And also, like, for example, yesterday I went in one of the Goodwills by my house and they had like 4 jars out, and they weren't ridiculously priced. Some were like $29.99 and $19.99, but they all looked kind of super beady to me, so I didn't buy them. So unless I see like a lot of gold and silver pieces in there, I usually won't buy them because I got enough beads,
Yeah. Okay, so I guess probably the last thing that I want to talk about, and with me and Jen, because we live in the northern part of the states, our yard sale season is not year round. I know, Tonya, that yours is pretty much year round. Yay, you're so lucky. So I guess what we're going to talk about is, this will be the last subject, is cleaning and clearing out stuff that hasn't sold for the new season. So Jen, since you're the veteran on antique booths, why don't you go ahead and let us know what you do, if there's anything you do like in the spring to like get rid of stuff that hasn't sold, or how to clear out, how to get ready, organized for the new upcoming garage sale season.
Well, as I've said before, everything I buy sells, and it sells at the price I intend to go for. Okay. I'm lying. No, for the past probably month and a half, 2 months in our booth, before I brought in the stuff I've repainted, we had that area staged in the front with clearance stuff. So I put everything at half price. If I see something in the booth that I think needs to go, I'll price it at half price. If it doesn't sell at that price, then it just needs to go. I mean, if it's something, I usually don't bring things in out of season. So if I have, a good price on it, or I've marked it down and it's not selling, it needs to go. So I literally packed things from the booth before we set this display up in the front, put it in the back of the car, and this past Monday, I donated it. So sometimes it's hard and it's painful because you think, I think that's so cute. Why didn't somebody buy that? But it's just, it's taking up space. So you're wasting money by trying to get rid of something. And if you have something that's marked down to $3 and nobody wants it, when you could put a $20 or $30 item in that same space in your booth, then you need to pull the trigger and get rid of it.
That's
if you think
smart thinking.
Yeah, if you think it's a seasonal thing, or maybe somebody would like it another time, or you paid a little more than you wanted, or whatever your reasoning is, you can always take it home and bring it back, or move it to a different spot in the booth, to have it in a spot where people can see it better. So if you don't mark it down and it doesn't sell, you can't repaint it or zhuzh it in some way, then it needs to go. And donate it at a place that you don't go very often, because you will try and buy it again. Because I swear, I'm like, wow, look, I'm like, I just brought that in. What, So
that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, if you could drive to, I never go over there, that's where you donate. Just take it over and drop it off.
So
Tonya, go ahead. I was gonna say, I have a lot of stuff still in my basement that I have bought that needs to go in the booth. So I do have to go through some of that stuff and make some hard decisions, because stuff in the booth, that seems, I've already put in the time to price it and it's already been in front of people's faces. But if it's in my house, I got to make some tough decisions because there's no way I can start garage sale season with my basement looking like it does now.
Yeah,
That's just, it's not going to happen.
Do that in the spring, Jen?
Huh?
You typically do that in the spring?
You know, I usually try and use up during the winter what I have and thrift less, but I can't, you know, that doesn't happen either. So, I mean, if I don't put out a Savers haul on Monday, there's going to be a riot somewhere. So, yeah, because I mean, people check on me. Are you okay? Or did you have an accident? Are you in the hospital? Oh, yeah, no. So, but like I said, I got to go through and make some decisions because some stuff I've had down there a while, and I wouldn't buy it now, even at the price I bought it at then. So, like you said, you know, there's just some hard decisions that have to be made.
Yeah, you're so lucky that you have that basement.
Yep, I love it.
Let me get to a question here in the chat from Vinny. He says, do any of you take your duds to auctions? My dad and I do that once a year to make it from what we bought that wasn't eBayable.
That's smart. It's a good idea, Vincent.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. There's so many around. I'm sure somebody would do that. So, and it's better, you know, I don't know, it's better than donating as far as getting any money out of it. But I don't know. I just kind of think that, you know, I'm standing by the stream and I'm panning for stuff and then I find it. And if it doesn't work for me, I put it back in there and somebody else down the line will pick it up and either they'll use it or they'll sell it in their area. So it's just a continual, you know, circle of life kind of thing is how I look at it.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? I think I'm going to start doing a little light bulb just went off in my head. I think somewhere on my price tags, I'm going to start working in a date. Like, I don't want it to be totally obvious for the customer, but I need to work in some kind of a date so that I know because I just can't remember always whenever I bought something.
Yeah.
And so right now what's happening is like for the past, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, I have not had a garage sale. Like I loathe having garage sales. You know, it's a lot of work. But I was telling her just the other night, you know, I'm really thinking about having one just because I just want to blow the stuff out and I hate to just give it away. But even if I put $1 on some things, you know, $1 50 times over is $50 and that's going to add up. So, and I was telling them like what I could do is just like keep a little bin, a box somewhere in the house. And when I decide I want to put something on sale, kind of like how I do for my antique booth, right? I don't sit down and price everything at once to go to the antique booth for that week. I mean, I'm doing it all week long, like maybe 3 or 4 items before dinner, a couple items after dinner the next night. I mean, it's just little things that add up to a lot. But when we were at their this past weekend, I mean, I was seeing some stuff that definitely needs to go. It's been there too long. It's time to go.
See, that's the beauty of doing haul videos is you can go back and like I'll have somebody new to my channel.
True.
They'll comment on an old you know video and I'll pull it up and I'll go, I still have that in my booth or I still have that in the basement. I need to, you know, do something with it.
Right.
So yeah, that's a maybe not so friendly reminder of look how long ago you bought that. You need to do something.
Yeah, those videos will definitely hold you accountable, right?
Yeah. So Tonya, is there a certain time of the year that you declutter, or do you just, because garage sale season's all year round, do you just kind of keep up with it all year round, or how do you do it?
I would say now for me is the time to declutter because it is about to be prime time, or it's on right now. Like with the past couple of weekends, it has started and it is garage sale season time. There are tons of them happening. And so that means I'm going to be buying a lot more inventory.
Right.
And so I'm going to be wanting to move out the old stuff that hasn't sold. I mean, if it's still sitting there and we've already been through, say, 3 or 4 50% off sales and nobody's bought it, it is time to go.
Yeah.
See, I know that even if you live, you know, Tonya, you're somewhere where there's garage sale season all the time. But I think when it's August in Texas, I don't know who's going to want to go out and have a garage sale or attend a garage sale. So, you know, you may have it all year round, but is it like the really hot season? Is that kind of slower?
I would say August, yeah, it definitely gets super hot. And I would say they're not maybe as plentiful, but like for me personally, when it's that hot outside, I usually shut it down by 10. I'm done because I'll leave early anyway. So 7 to 10, 3 hours of garage selling is good for me. I'm done after that. So I mean, I've pretty much hit everything I need to hit. My car is probably full. So yeah, but that definitely is a factor.
Yeah, see, around here, if it's garage sale season and I'm out or it's going to rain, I still go out because people put a lot of work into it, and most people still have a garage sale because it's in the garage. And,
Exactly.
and rain or sprinkling seems to run off all of the weaklings.
Yeah. So I have,
us diehards are out there, So
Right.
yeah.
So Garage Flips, Lonnie was in town a couple weekends ago. And so on Saturday morning, we went garage selling after trading on and off all day long. And we got, especially him, he got some really good scores. And so definitely, you guys, when it's raining outside, that's when you want to go garage selling because people do put a lot of work into it. And most people can just move everything in their garage. So definitely don't let the rain scare you away.
Yeah, and if you're out there with an umbrella, you might have somebody offer you a price for it. Remember that story? I still have that umbrella, and I've seen her before, and I'm sure I'll see her this year too.
What happened? Tell us the story.
Oh, I was out garage sailing, and a lady said, "How much for your umbrella?" And I thought she was joking. And I said, "Oh, well, how much?" Because I'm like, "Hey, a price is a price." And she's like, "Well, how about $1?" And I said, "Honey, my hair ain't worth getting wet for $1." And I said, $10. It's a nice umbrella. And so she was like, "Nah." So later on, I saw her again, and it was raining harder. Yeah, it's like I kept seeing her. And then the last time I saw her, or she even asked at one point to look at it. So she's like looking at it. I know. So my son, he was like, if you would have told me this happened, I would never have believed you. So last time I saw her, she pulled up and she looked at me through the window and through my car window, and she went and stuck out her tongue at me. And I'm like, I love when stuff like this happens because this is a perfect story to tell on my channel because people are like, "You must have taken that up." No, it's true. It's all true.
Have you ever seen her again?
No, that was last year, so I might this year. Who knows? So
That's funny.
Yeah,
That is hilarious.
it really happened. I know my son, he said, "If you would have told me that, I never would have believed you." And he said, "Only you would that happen to." And I said, "Well, what can I say?"
Well, guys, I don't really have anything else unless you all do. If there's any questions in the chat, we'll hang around for just a little bit and see. But that's all I have for this episode.
Oh, now the dogs start barking. At least they waited.
Right? I know. All right, listen, let me just say how well behaved our dogs were this episode. Right?
Well, Tonya, you and me both have little yippy dogs, so.
Yes.
Well, something's funny. My son's getting ready to go on vacation, and my husband and I are keeping his dog.
What kind of dog is it?
It's a golden retriever.
Oh, I love those dogs. They're so pretty, but they're big.
He's not even, I don't even think he's 6 months old yet.
Oh.
So we're keeping him for a week. So that's going to be,
Yeah, they're pretty energetic when they're puppies. Yeah, definitely.
Diapers. Get diapers.
Well, at least he's potty trained, and he does know how to use a bell. So, and we have a bell at our house.
Oh, wow.
My son, I told him to train him to use the bell, and then his parents, his wife's parents, they have a bell. Their dogs use also. So all three of us use a bell.
That's such a good idea. What a smart little dog.
Yeah, I taught mine to do that. I learned about it, and I was like, I'm going to try to teach mine. It took him a little bit to learn it, but once he learned it, he's good. Whenever he has to go out, he just goes over and rings the bell with his nose.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, when we got our littlest one, Tater, she was 9 months old. So once she started following our other dog, Pixel, around, she kind of got the gist of when to go. So the only problem is now she likes to poo in the house when it's rainy or snowy because she doesn't like to get her little feet wet,
Oh, yeah.
My dog does the same thing.
Oh, I hate that. Oh.
Yeah, my dogs won't even go outside if it's raining. I'll open the door and it'll stand there and look at me like, really? Yeah, no.
I know my one dog, Pixel, she'll start to rout and then she tries to back up. I got my foot like, no. You're not coming back in here. Nope.
Well, guys, I guess we'll go ahead and sign off. If you aren't subscribed to any of us, Tonya, the Thrifty Treasures, Jen, the Pudgy Picker, and me, Tam's Place, subscribe to our channels. Make sure you hit the bell so that way when we make a new video, you'll be able to be notified.
Be sure and hit that thumbs up.
Yep. Thumbs up, everybody.
I saw one of my subscribers on Monday. I always talk to her. And I said something about my video I put up on the weekend, and she goes, "Oh, I haven't seen it yet." And I'm like, "Why not?" And she started laughing. She goes, "I do watch other people, And I said, "Well, I don't know why I'm not on the top of that list."
It's hard to watch everybody, you guys. There's so many people I want to watch. It's just you cannot get to all of them. You just can't.
Yeah, you try, but it's hard. I mean, I do the best I can. I try to watch everybody, and I might watch, some of it or whatever, and then I'll have to do other things. But I try to get around to everybody as much as I can.
Right. I agree.
I watch more YouTube than I do regular TV. And
I do too, definitely.
On my workbench and my table that I do my work at for eBay and for my booth. So I always have that running, and sometimes I'm in the mood to somebody to just talk to me, and then other videos you gotta watch.
Yeah.
So
I'm either watching or listening.
Yeah, it's harder to get things done when they're like, "Oh, look at this." You're like, "What?" Yeah.
All right,
I
guys.
had so much fun with y'all.
I guess we'll go for this episode. Next episode, who is it be for you, Tonya?
Yes.
Okay, next month will be on Tonya's channel. Got any ideas on what we're going to talk about next month?
I like this format where we kind of just touch on everything. So
yeah, I do too. I think it's good.
Yeah, I'll come up with about 4 good topics for us to talk about, and I'm sure that'll fill up a good hour.
Okay.
At least.
Good. Well, with that, we will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next month.
Bye.
Bye.